Shut up and sit down.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Media Chop Up Podcast. My name is Serge, aka Sergerilla. I'm joined by my partner, Rick.
All right, thanks for introducing us, man. Today's topic is going to be thought-provoking films that make you go, So, one of the first things we want to talk about, because you can't talk about thought-provoking films without mentioning time travel movies, but there's just so many time travel movies. Like, you have freaking Looper, Deja Vu, 12 Monkeys. What kind of time travel movies come to mind?
Oh man, so many, man. I mean, you can go with the classic, which is with Michael J. Fox.
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future, obviously. And that was like one of the first ones we saw. But I don't know how many people saw this movie. It wasn't a great movie, but I'll show you a quick picture of it. The Time Machine.
Oh, the Time Machine. Yeah, I seen that.
I appreciate it for many levels. It wasn't the best acting across the board. Guy Pearce is in it. I really like him. Frequency was another movie that I really, really, really liked. And like you mentioned, Deja Vu. Deja Vu was great, man. But very, very abstract. Some of these movies are really abstract. Some of them are more comedic. It depends. Terminator. He's coming from the.
Oh, you can't mention time travel movies without us mentioning Terminator.
That's what I'm saying. Except he was teleporting everywhere naked and shit. But
what I like about time travel movies is that there's no set rules for time travel. So every time someone does a time travel movie, they give their own unique spin on it. Like in Time Cop, did you see Time Cop with Van Damme?
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the rules in that world is that if you go back in time, you can't share the same space as yourself because you cancel each other out. Mm-hmm. So the way he killed somebody, he push him into his other version of himself, and they would just like disappear, some shit. So it's unique. And then
it's ironic you said that. I think yesterday or today was his 60th birthday. Van Damme.
Oh wow, 60! Happy 60th! Happy 60th!
I hear about his birthday and I feel old because I used to love his movies growing up so much. Whatever.
Yeah, but then 60, he could probably still do a split though. He's always been, he got that elasticity.
I want to know who told him he could dance in movies, because he loves to do a lot of dancing in movies.
Nah, he actually doesn't. What do you call it? He didn't know. He was nervous when they first told him to do that because he didn't know how to dance, and they just gave him some drinks, and he just did what he did. And in Bloodsport, I think it was.
I think it was the 80s. It was like, dude, everyone doesn't know how to dance. And he's like, all right.
Man, did you see Arrival? Arrival was another good time travel movie.
I couldn't make it through that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I couldn't.
Interstellar.
Honest opinion? So long and drawn out, it lost me. And I saw that in the movie theaters. And I love Matthew McConaughey, right? He was in that, right?
Right.
Yeah. I was really following in the movie, and I was explaining stuff to my lady and everything, and I was just lost, bro.
Yeah, it's just a theory on the black hole and how it works, and it's amazing how they just were playing with the idea of time travel. How in some galaxies, like a week is like 10 years.
Yeah.
And that shit was crazy. Another really fun time travel for me was Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, that was great.
Great. I loved it. That was really fun. It was kind of comedic. But I love the pace of it. Just you kept reliving the same day over and over and over, and just keep getting better and better and better.
And if you think about it, being that he was reliving it and redoing the same scenes over and over again, they did it in a funny way that you didn't get bored with it. Because
exactly,
you saw a lot of things over and over again. He had to fight the same battles over again. He had to speak to the same people. He woke up at the same time with the guy yelling at him. They made it really funny, and then it got to a point where they just stopped showing all those different pieces, and they took them right in. But you followed and you got the gist of it, and they did a great job with that.
All right, that's dope.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I guess we're gonna go into one of my favorite thought-provoking movies, and you really can't talk about thought-provoking movies without mentioning this movie, and it is The Matrix.
Ooh,
yeah,
classico. Man. The Matrix. Love The Matrix, man. Matrix is great on so many levels, man.
Yeah, that movie was just like, it's one of the first movies that made you really think about your existence. Like shit, like how do we know if we're not in the Matrix? Like you actually thought about that stuff. You was like, that shit was kind of crazy. And like they had so many lines in that movie that really like were profound, man. Even though it was a movie, it really had you fucking thinking. Like one of the first things was funny when Mouse, the skinny character, is talking about how maybe the Matrix didn't know how to program what chicken tastes like, which is why everything tastes like chicken.
Yeah, that was a nice little line to put in there. Pretty
Yeah,
cool.
man.
The Matrix, it opened eyes to a lot of things, man. And also with cinematography, where they paused everything and then spun it around and then had the bullets come over him. Man, everyone was copying that afterwards, and it blew everyone's mind, man. It was like, in fact, the first scene when they get the call, they're in the building, right?
Yeah, Trinity.
And Trinity, man, blew everyone. Everyone was like, "What is this about?" And him jumping from building to buildings. You're basically bending the laws of real life.
Yeah.
But there was a reason for it, and great movie, man. Great
What was
movie.
what was one of your first thoughts after the movie was over? Like when it was done, like what were you thinking? Like
I was really questioning which one I would choose.
Right.
I was questioning what we create, how it could come over, could take over us. Because if you think about it, right,
Right, technology.
it's not in a really advanced way right now, but technology has taken over our lives, bro. People
Absolutely.
are attached to their devices. They can't live without it. Everything is about making things easier. It's less about communicating with each other, and it's all about our devices. It's all about what you're gonna plug into. You're plugging into something. I need this information. I need it now. I need it now. Okay, you know what? I don't even have to hear it. Like there's just different ways. And I was thinking about that. Like, we make things to make things easier for us, but can it come back and hurt us later on?
Yeah. There's some dialogue that really had me thinking in the Matrix, and one of the dialogue is from Morpheus when he says, "What is real? If real is what you can feel, what you can taste, see, and smell, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain." And with that thought, right?
That's deep.
Have you seen videos of people taking virtual reality like for the first time, and how like they're busting their ass, like they're falling and screaming and all this other stuff? Now, just imagine if you like just couldn't physically feel anything, and somebody put you like into a form of sedation, and they put some kind of virtual reality machine on your face, and when you wake up, that's the world you know.
Absolutely.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's a deep line right there if you think about it. About it all being what did he compare it to?
Electrical impulses interpreted by your brain.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
A long time ago, I saw a documentary about monks. These monks that they can basically travel anywhere, not travel in their minds. They can meditate and do whatever they want, right? And they connected some sensors on them, and they realized that the part of their brain that was being accessed was the part that experiences things in real time. So,
Oh wow.
if you are driving a car 100 miles an hour, if you're falling, if you're climbing a tree, if you're fighting, you're experiencing something with a certain part of your brain. That part of your brain lights up. That brain does not light up unless you're doing things. But for them, they are meditating and they are accessing that part, which means, which leads to the thought of them traveling. They're traveling mentally wherever they want to go, and their body is just a shell. So kind of same idea right there.
Right. And like, you ever had like a dream that just felt so real, like a really lucid dream, right? The Matrix touches on that, and that's something else that Morpheus says. He says, have you ever had a dream that you were sure was real? What if you were unable to wake from that dream? How would you know the difference between the dream world and the real world? So imagine if you were just like in a perpetual state of dreaming, and you just didn't wake up. Like, what would you use to decipher the difference? How would you know? How would you know?
There's no way of knowing, man. Things feel so real, and what we judge to be as real you can be tricked.
Right, absolutely.
You can.
The mind is a powerful thing.
You could be in a meditation state, and they got a fan blowing on you, and you think that you're falling. Like, oh my God, I feel the air. Like, it's not real. It's
right.
There's a bunch of different ways of tricking the senses in order to make you feel that that's real. So you don't know what's what. And honestly, like, yeah, we all left that movie theater thinking like, damn, like, was that movie real?
Yeah, you start touching things like, is this microphone real?
I can feel it, but is it really here? I feel like Neo, and I'm high, and I
Right. And for me, probably the most profound message in that movie came from the villain, from freaking Agent Smith.
okay.
Because what he's
Hugo Weaving. Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. Because like what he said, it was almost like just so profound because it just seemed like so logical. And what he says, like he has a Morpheus trapped, and he says, he goes, I try to classify your species and realize that you're not actually mammals. Every mammal on this planet instinctively creates an equilibrium with its surroundings, with its surrounding environments, but humans do not. He says that we move from an area and we multiply and multiply until every natural resource is consumed. The only way we can survive is to spread to another area. And then he says there is another organism on this planet that follows the same pattern. Do you know what that is? A virus. And I was like, holy shit, that shit really blew my mind. It really did, because then I started thinking about mammals and how some of them live in the water, some of them live in the land. They only take what they need. But humans, we just fucking consumers. We just consume and consume and consume and consume. And it's so true. That's why we have overpopulation. And when he said that, I was like, damn, are we really a cancer of the planet?
We can be, absolutely. And if you think about it, that those words that saying was double edged. He talked about us and mankind and what we pretty much mimic, right? We mimic that of a virus, but if you think about
Right.
it, Matrix is about the computer world, about going in and out of reality. So, and a
Right.
virus is reflective of what can happen inside of a computer world. So, it
Oh,
was
like a computer virus. Okay.
yeah. So it's double edged the way he meant it.
Hmm.
He's telling Neo about, Lawrence Fishburne about his species, about how they became to be, and versus you know a virus in a computer.
That's crazy. So, after watching The Matrix, after knowing everything that you know about The Matrix, if you had a choice to remain in the real world or go back into The Matrix, what would you choose?
I think we've all pondered that, man, and I want the real, man. I want the
Really?
real. I want the real. Listen, they said that they are utilizing, the human's body is able to conjure up all this energy, which they're harnessing, right? And they have
Right.
all these humans in a sleeping state, plugged into the matrix, living
Mm.
their lives, so to speak, but they're really not living their lives, right? So at what point do they not need our body energy and can find another form? And then all of a
Mm.
sudden everything goes blank. So
Right.
I wouldn't trust the evolution of things, and I feel like we would be phased out, just like anything else. So I would rather be living amongst other humans, as hard as it may be,
I like that thought
knowing that that's
process.
real. That's just me. Don't get me wrong. I probably, if the Matrix is real, I probably want a steak right now. You know what I mean?
like,
Just like
hey,
Cypher, he snitched
right.
on everybody. He was like, let me get
For
that
some
steak right
fake
there.
steak, man. For some fake steak.
That tastes
See
like
me,
chicken.
like I think, like I didn't think about it from your perspective, which actually makes sense. If we get phased out, we're fucked, right? But I probably would want to stay in the fake world because I'm talking about knowing what I know. With
But
the knowing that the
anyone
Matrix
knows.
is real, I think I would want to stay in the fake world because, for one, I know that I can't get sick, I can't die prematurely, right?
You want
And I know I'd be able to break some of the laws. Like I try punching through a wall and see how that works out, knowing that I'm not actually punching a wall.
Did anyone in the Matrix know that they were in the Matrix? No.
No, but that's what I'm trying to tell you. That was my question though. Like knowing what you know.
You can't take that in.
Absolutely, it's my question. I can ask you what the hell
Okay,
I
okay,
want.
okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you knew that, because that's exactly what Cypher did. Like he knew everything, and his choice was to go back in. He said, "Fuck this fake shit. They don't even got steak. They don't even got chickens.
Yeah,
They don't even have animals."
he had clothing with holes in it and everything.
Yeah.
It's always cold out there.
You wanna,
No, the heat isn't always on.
he said, "Put me back in the cocoon with the warm slime."
Yeah, that wasn't pleasing to the eye.
Yeah, man.
Definitely not. Definitely not. But
All right,
yeah, man,
so yeah,
Matrix is a great movie, man, on many levels. The fighting, the storyline, the message. It definitely caused a lot of thought-provoking moments.
absolutely, man. All right, so what's your thought-provoking film that you want to get into?
Bro, it's so many, man, so many. Just having conversations with people. People are bringing up movies and certain movies I wanted to touch on, but I realized they were better. I would save those conversations for another day. So the movie I wanted to talk about was the movie Equilibrium.
I like that.
Equilibrium with Christian Bale,
Right.
aka the best Batman.
Okay.
Great movie, man. If you think about it, it has the similarities to the Matrix. I'll explain later.
I
But
think visually that's about it.
let me reel you in, brother.
Okay.
It's a world where they believe emotions cause war, right?
Mm.
Now, before I get into this, just so you know, this movie mimicked a lot of other movies that came before, and they were very, very similar in the way they were filmed and everything.
Right.
Just so if you want to research that, I can get into those. I think Fahrenheit 451 was the act. Gattaca, all movies that are actually similar to this type of movie, right?
Right.
If you ever want to look into that. But so emotions cause war, so they had to keep everyone in a controlled, emotionless state. So how do you do that?
Mm.
You can't govern your emotions. If you're angry, you're angry. If you're sad, you're sad. You have emotional ties to your family. There's no way to live an emotionless life. So they came up
Right.
with a drug called Prosium 2, and everybody was on that. And it caused everyone to just live a very, very direct life, not get too involved with things, not get angry with things. And they have these
It's supp-
office. I'm sorry.
no, I said it suppressed their emotions. Basically, that's what
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
and it did a really good job of it, and everybody was on it. And there were people who were hiding out that were living
A real life.
a real life without suppressing their emotions, right? But
Uh-huh.
but but these agents were coming out to find them and everything, and the agents would they wouldn't just hunt down the people; they would burn and get rid of anything that was from that world. So emotional ties to books. We love
Mm.
books. We love movies. They will burn that because those have emotional ties. So they didn't want anything from the past to conjure that up. A beautiful book about poetry,
Right.
artwork. Forget it. Not allowed. All that stuff is not allowed. That world was just so bland and 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 controlled. That's the way they wanted it. So the storyline is about an officer who's a top notch officer, and his job was to obviously seek out these lawbreakers and bring them in so they can take the prosium or kill them. Most of the time, it was
Mm.
killing them, and burn and get rid of everything that they held sacred, right? And you're just
Yeah.
basically preserving this world. And at some point, uh, his superior says something that planted a seed, and he said, "I'm not going to take this dose of prosium." And from there, he had all these people that looked up to him. He started feeling, but he had to hide it.
Mm.
So if you think about it from an acting standpoint, it's a very difficult thing. How do you show that you're going through these emotions
Yeah.
without showing them? You have to
Not to
basically.
cut you off. He actually what happened was that he mistakenly broke one of his injections. That's what happened. That's what started that whole thing. He had his injections lined up and he was about to take them. And his son came into the room and startled him and he broke it. So he had to go get a refill. And
Mhm.
that's what that since he missed that first
Dose.
that first dose, that started the whole process of him starting to feel emotion. Because then when he was about to take it, he started, he second guessed it and he missed that first dose. Slowly started to have feelings, and then continued missing doses, and started having
He started really seeing
emotions.
things in a
Yeah,
totally different headspace, and
yeah,
now he has to hide it because he has this job that he's
hmm
expected to do, and he has his boss that think about it. You have to be emotionless. You have to be very, you got to be kind of like the Terminator with no expressions on your face, right?
that's something you gotta think about, right? How hard is it to hide your emotions? You ever got into an argument with somebody and you were so upset and you try to suppress it? Your face does not lie. And they do a good job in that movie. Yo.
Think
He
about it.
tries to hide his emotions when he's feeling,
Mhm.
and it's like,
Exactly. Your face, your eyes, all that stuff. This reminds me of V for Vendetta with Hugo Weaving, the guy who played Agent Smith,
mm,
and he had to find ways to show emotion with that mask on the whole movie.
Right.
So that's actually an art form, bro, that you really have to
Absolutely.
learn how to express things, because think about it. Us in 2020, we're looking at each other with masks on, and we don't know that someone's smiling.
Right.
Are you smiling? Are you upset? Are you you still trying to read people. I can't see your face,
Yeah.
or you see a little wrinkles on people's eyes.
I mean, originally movies had no sound anyway. Movies used to be silent, so that's how. I mean, it's an old art form anyway.
Definitely. So to continue, the movie was amazing on many levels, right? So you see, he's going through the struggle, and he's being almost like a double agent, because now he's feeling things. He's feeling bad for things. He's realizing the error in his ways, and he also is looked up to and expected to maintain the standard of emotionless. So in this movie, they created a form of martial art called
Oh, the gun katas.
the gun kata,
Oh, I
aka
love that
gun
shit.
fu. And it's
Yeah.
basically the art of basically fighting with guns in your hands and doing a lot of like reactive stuff, so
Yeah.
they cannot get a straight shot on you. Right,
Yeah.
so it's basically using your wrist and bending it so he can't get a straight shot on you, and twisting your arm, and just the art of amazing.
Yeah, the gunplay in that movie is second only to John Wick. Like John Wick was
Absolutely.
absolutely awesome, but the
Very,
gunplay in that movie was fucking phenomenal. I loved
very,
it. Loved
very,
it.
very
Visually beautiful.
I'm glad but this was actually created for this movie, which
Right.
blows my mind, right? Great movie. So to tie everything in, these people were told by the head guy that you people, we're all gonna live in a utopia. We're gonna have they're lying to them. You're gonna live in a utopia, right? And
Right.
a place where everyone can be happy. But how are you gonna live in a utopia with no emotions, right?
Right.
So if you think about it, it's very similar to the Matrix. Agent Smith said in the Matrix, he spoke on different matrices that failed, especially with utopia being involved. So
Right.
so if you think about it, Equilibrium could have been a prequel to Matrix, and one of the failed utopias that he was talking about.
I like that. I like that. That's an original thought.
Yeah,
That's an original thought. I like it.
it's pretty ill.
All right. So
But
what kind of things did Equilibrium make you think about? Like for me personally, I thought like how bland was sex? Right? It's like
but in all honesty, man, what do we do in this life?
yeah.
Think about it. We work, right? And
Right.
we find pleasures in work, and in being with our friends, and I don't know, funny things at work or whatever the case may be. But outside of work, you're looking to make yourself happy. I like
Right.
movies. I like sports. I like this. I like that.
Simple pleasures.
Now take away everything, and what do you have? You have
Nothing.
nothing. You're a
You're a
robot.
robot.
You
You're a
are a
robot.
robot. Exactly. So just fathoming that, I can't fathom, not being emotionless, not being able to show my family and my loved ones, that I
Yeah.
care.
How would you feel
I can't.
if they
I'm not allowed to feel.
exactly check this out though? How would you feel if they murdered your wife for loving you?
It's crazy.
That's what happened in the movie, right? They arrested.
You know what that's gonna be. You know
What?
what it's like.
What?
You watch Dave Chappelle, right?
Huh?
You watch the skit on Clayton Bigsby,
Hmm.
where
Wait, I'm not sure.
he was a black white supremacist, but he was blind.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
at the end of the episode, he found out that he was black, and
He
then
divorced his wife.
well, why did you divorce your wife after being with her for so many years? And he was like, because
Yeah, she married a black guy.
so it's like,
That's the politically correct version of it.
yeah, I didn't want to say it. But the point is like, how do how are you okay with them murdering your wife for loving you?
Yeah, it made me think like how are relationships formed? Like, are they assigned? Like, how does that work?
Yeah,
That's
that's I don't see that happening. How I think like if you're partnered up with someone, you stay with that person, but like
mhm.
there's no way to be in a relationship with someone and have no emotional ties.
And how do you like even go about the thought process of having kids when there's no emotions involved, right? It's like, maybe we should procreate. Sure, bend over. Going in. I'm done.
As a parent, you don't have to go to any of their plays because you have no emotional ties. Like, I'm not gonna.
Right. Exactly. Kids are not gonna argue about. Oh, there's an upside. The kids are not gonna argue with you, bro. There's a silver lining. Go do your homework. Do your homework. Okay, Dad.
He's so smart.
Go to bed. I know, right? Go to bed. Okay, Dad. Turn off the TV. Okay, Dad. Silver lining.
Hey, listen, have your son watch that movie and tell him if he keeps acting up, you're gonna give him some Prozac for this food. He's gonna, okay, Dad. Okay, Dad. Right. You to go to bed. If you don't go to bed, I'm gonna give you some Prozac.
I'm not gonna take it. Is what he's gonna say.
He's gonna be like, okay, I'll find a way to give it to you.
When you're sleeping, you sleep with your mouth open.
Yo, you're gonna plant that seed. He's gonna be terrified.
You won't be able to go. He'll be up like this, sleeping like this. Yo, one eye open.
Scar him for life, man. You're horrible. That's a perk of being a dad.
Yeah, it's just crazy, man. Crazy.
Absolutely. So what next? What about you? What's your movie?
Kyle mentioned that we can't have this show without talking about Inception, and he has a point. But the only real question in Inception for me was, they talked about dreams and planting the ideas and all this other stuff. But for me, I mean, the big question was, did he make it out of the dream or did he not? But there's another Leonardo DiCaprio movie that was a lot more thought-provoking. That movie is Shutter Island. Have you seen Shutter Island?
The beginning of it. I cannot tell a lie.
No, that movie is, oh my God. It was just
a mind thriller.
Not just that, like, you can watch that movie over and over and over and discover new things in it. Like in this movie, right? It starts off like he's this like U.S. Marshal trying to look into this asylum because he believes that they're doing like illegal experiments and stuff like that. But behind that, he also believes that the person who set fire to his house and killed his wife is in this asylum. So this whole movie, he's hunting down this killer. But what you end up finding out, spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen Shutter Island, turn off the video, turn off the podcast. Sergio, close your ears, disconnect the headphones. The thing is that he was looking for himself the whole time. What had happened was that he was married and had 3 kids, and his wife was crazy, and they tried to tell him that go get his wife some help, and he was just so in love with her, he decided he's just gonna ignore everybody and just love his wife. So one day he comes home and his wife killed and drowned his 3 kids. So in a bout of rage, he shot his wife dead, and at that moment he snapped and he couldn't handle that reality. And his mind broke and created this new reality where he was a U.S. Marshal looking for the person who killed his wife. So in this asylum, he was actually what do you call it? A patient. He's been there for 2 years. So they did this elaborate role play to allow him to play out his role play so that he can see that, he's actually the person that killed his wife and his kids. And it's such a mind fuck, man. That movie is crazy. It is, man. And they use so many metaphors with fire and water because those are the 2 elements that caused the demise of his family. His kids were drowned and killed, and his house was burned, and they had to move to the lake house where eventually killed his kids, his wife. It was a real psychological thriller. It was one of those movies that you had to watch over and over and over and over. And
how many times did you watch it?
At least 3 in each. And each time you like really get into like, it's amazing. It feels different every time.
Okay. Yeah.
It's really good.
Nice.
Shutter Island.
Definitely. I love movies like that, man.
And it's crazy. I think these movies came out around the same time. It's like Leonardo likes to do like these thought-provoking films for the most part. Like I guess we could touch on Inception just to make Kyle happy. Kyle, this is for you.
Listen, that's part of a bigger conversation. We can
I
save
know,
that
right?
for another episode. But
All right,
like,
cool.
for the sake of time, we'll get into
Yeah.
that another day. Like, for example, my next movie, I was really torn because there's so many movies, great movies that
Right.
pop in my head, man. And I love thought-provoking movies that afterwards you're just kind of building with each other, and it causes these great conversations. And what about this? Well, I saw it this way, and so on and so on. One of those movies that did it for me. I'm not choosing this movie. I decided to save it for another day. Would be Memento. If
Oh,
you've
that's a
seen
good one.
Memento's a great movie, and that's not a movie to look away. Do not look away. Do not be distracted. There's so many seeds and so many moments that you have to pay attention to. Great movie. I'll get into it later. If you haven't seen it, put it on your list. But the movie I'm going to talk about is a movie that wowed me. I went to the movie theaters to see this, and I watched that whole movie trying to figure it out, trying to figure out who the killer was. Movie Seven.
Ah,
Great,
that was a good one.
great movie. And it's a movie that is based around the seven deadly sins. It's a killer who decides to kill. I think it was in Seattle. In the name of the seven deadly sins, and his goal is to achieve all these murders and go down in history as one of the one of the killers to achieve all these things in the name of the seven deadly sins, right? And great cast. So for that cast, we have Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Kevin Spacey, Gwyneth Paltrow, all great actors. I literally, I think I snuck into the movie theater to see that when it came
You
out.
little shit.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it was in
Oh, really?
it was in 1995, right? I went to UA movie theater in Brooklyn, right, which is classic, and we couldn't even sit next to each other. So I think that added more drama to it. But great movie. Throughout the whole movie, there's one murder after the next murder after the next murder. In case you don't know what the seven deadly sins are, I'll go through them: gluttony, greed, sloth, envy, wrath, pride, and lust. From all those that I just named, do you remember the way the person died in one of those that stuck out in your brain?
The very first scene, the opening scene with Gluttony, I believe, with the big
God.
guy. Yeah, I think they had like ice cream cones and shit stuff. It
was disgusting. It was disgusting
Yeah.
because he was inside of this old, disgusting apartment, not well lit at all, and he was fed so much. So that as they started, going for clues, they found out that his hands were tied under the table. I think his legs were tied to the chair, and when they found out that he was fed so much that his stomach just exploded. Sorry
yeah, I
for
remember
the
that.
explosive stuff. But
Should pull up an image.
but when they were testing the contents of his stomach, they found two metal slits, and they were like, what can this be from? I don't understand.
Yeah.
And they started looking around, and they moved the refrigerator, and they found out in back of the refrigerator were two slits. Was it from the ground from moving the refrigerator? Two pieces of metal that were kind of like scratched out and fed to him as a clue, so he could find where the next sin was, and then it led him to the next clue for the next sin. So at first they didn't know what they were really dealing with, and Morgan Freeman was a detective, a seasoned detective that was literally about to retire, and then transferred to him was Brad Pitt, and very dark movie. I was watching this movie and wondering the whole time, who could be doing this? How could they not get caught? Because there were so many aspects of it that they were walking through areas where there was cameras. They were
Right.
dealing with people. How are they not getting seen? And the whole movie, I'm just contemplating that. There was the murder of let me see, which one was it? Greed, with the lawyer.
Agreed.
I
Okay.
couldn't figure it out. I was like, how did this person get in there, torture the guy for so long, make it out of that place when it was locked?
Did they explore that in the movie? Did they explore that?
They
Or
said,
just like one of those things that's
they
up in
said
the air?
they said something that it was over the weekend. they captured this lawyer because he was corrupt and he was greedy, and he had to die because of his greed, and he tortured him and had him. I don't feel like giving the details of all these murders, but like because people could watch it, but like I
Right.
think he had to like choose a body part to remove from himself. He says, "I'm not gonna do it to you." He had a gun to him. He goes, "If you want to live, or even a chance to live, you choose a body part to remove." And
That's
he
on some
chose
Saw shit.
it is, and he chose his love handles, and
Oh shit.
he ended up bleeding out and dying, right?
Yeah.
And I believe they said that the killer hid out, I think, in the ceiling for like the weekend
That's
until
crazy.
it's time to leave, and then came dressed up and left like nobody else and didn't get seen. So the way it ended blew my mind, and I don't want to spoil it, but it's very dramatic. And the last two sins were accomplished at the end of the movie,
Right.
and more than anything, it wasn't just about killing all these people. It was about predicting how people were going to react, and that's what this bad guy did. And this bad guy was very bad. He was very creepy. It was.
This bad guy was very bad. Okay, he was very, very bad. So you
I'm,
sound like Trump explaining
I'm,
something.
I'm
It's a
leading.
really bad person. It's so
I'm,
bad. It's extremely bad.
I'm leading up to it. It's Kevin Spacey,
Oh,
and
okay.
Kevin Spacey led up to he was this bad guy that like you just wanted to hurt him because he was like, yo, how are you so evil and so emotionless about it. But he was like a master, I don't know, murderer, and he knew that, and he turned
It was
himself in.
was it Kevin Spacey in that movie?
Yeah, bro, he was John Doe. Oh, and
That's
there was so
crazy.
many aspects to it. Like, Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman ended up finding the guy's apartment, and they were like, we don't have any reason to know why he's here. They through illegal means they found out what I think through library records. They found someone that was reading up on this stuff, and they found his apartment. But they can't go into his apartment because they illegally obtained information from the library to get this info. So they
Right,
were like,
right.
"Yo, we can't go in this guy's apartment." And then Brad Pitt was like, "Fuck that, we're going in." And he kicked in the door. And what they found was crazy because they found another body in there, right? And they found these books that were randomly placed, right? The black and white books with notes on everything, and it was so elaborate with drawings and it was crazy. Blew my mind. I'm in the movie theater like, what am I watching? This is crazy.
That's crazy.
So a movie that blew my mind. It definitely caused me and my cousin for hours just to talk about it. It was definitely one for the ages, man. I think it's definitely a collectible for the collection.
All right, cool, man. What do you call it? I mean, by no means is this like a top four list of movies that are thought provoking. These are just some of our movies that we found thought provoking. It's
Yeah,
not an elaborate list. I mean, there's a bunch of honorable mentions. Like I said earlier, we had 12 Monkeys, Vanilla Sky. Vanilla
mm,
Sky was really, really good.
yes, yes.
Swordfish, I enjoyed.
Hmm.
The Prestige, that was a movie with two magicians going at it, and always trying to figure out, they're always trying to one up each other. American Beauty, The Usual Suspects,
Mm, mm.
The
And
Sixth
no,
Sense.
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
definitely. All great movies, man. Or most of them are. I'm not. I didn't agree with two of them, but
Oh,
that's just
okay.
my opinion.
Which two? Which two? I'm curious.
American Beauty, very artsy fartsy. I watched that whole movie. I even owned it on DVD. But all in all, I was just like, eh.
I
You know,
wondered, like in American Beauty, I wondered if the dad was gay because he tried to come on to. I think Kevin Spacey was in that movie also.
he was. He was.
Yeah, he tried to come on to Kevin Spacey after he thought that he was messing with his son, and when Kevin Spacey turned him down, then he kills him. So I was wondering, like, that was one of those parts of the movie that really messed me up. I was like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
He beat his son's ass for thinking he was gay, but then he himself was trying to push up on the dad.
I watched that movie so long ago. You know
Yeah.
what movie was trippy?
Which
Uh,
one?
Being John Malkovich.
I've never seen that. I gotta watch that. I've heard like that.
Trippy
That's
as
a
hell.
really, really good movie. Yeah.
Trippy as hell. Very, very abstract and symbolic. But yeah, I think was he in that as well? Being John Malkovich? No, It was someone. It was another actor. Never mind. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, guys, man, I mean, we'd like to hear from you guys. What were some of the thought-provoking movies that you guys experienced? Why did you find them thought-provoking? What was it about the movies? Leave them down in the comments below. Let us know what what you would like to hear from us next.
Definitely, man. Man, we love movies, man, and we love sharing what we think about movies, and we love your opinions, man. I definitely want to give a couple shout outs. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for the love and the support and the critiques. And I definitely want to shout out a few people directly: Joshua, Kyle, Marlene, aka Marmar, Andreas, Andreas, and everybody in the media chop up room. People at the job. They've all been very, very positive. They've also came at us with like opinions, like, "Oh, I didn't feel the same about this." I'll say
Right.
this. I'll say this to you, Joshua. I definitely appreciated the feedback. I definitely like how you felt the need, just from hearing this podcast, to speak up on your opinion about the Joker, about the last Joker movie. I
Right.
think it touches my point that I brought up in the first episode. I can watch certain movies that I didn't consider great, and I'll appreciate it for different things. And it
Right.
seems like my point that bothered you so much about it not really connecting to the other movies and everything is something that you fought on, and you were like, "No, that's the reason why I liked it." And
Exactly.
that's
That's
the
dope.
that's the beauty of having your own mind and being able to speak on what you like and what you love and what you didn't like about things, and it's a beautiful thing, man. So definitely keep hitting us up with feedback. If you have Facebook and you want to get added to the room, we can add you. It's pretty cool because I throw trailers in there and shows and all different types of things, and people kind of give their opinions and stuff like that. And sometimes people give some funny opinions on shows that I don't even think should be mentioned in those categories. But nonetheless, man, thank you, man. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. And just to give you guys a hint of next week's show, we're gonna be doing like a Halloween show. It's gonna be based on scary movies, horror movies, just basically what kind of movies do you watch during the Halloween season? Give us some feedback on that and we can work that into our show.
Are you one of those people that watches a Halloween movie, not necessarily a Halloween movie, but like a spooky movie every Halloween? Because
I try. I
yeah,
try, yeah.
right,
I watch seasonal movies, so that's the question. Like during
seasonal movie.
Christmas time I'll watch like freaking who's the dude Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and
Okay.
those claymation movies. Yeah.
Do you feel the need to watch Chevy Chase movies around Christmas?
Not necessarily that one in particular.
Yeah, because he has Christmas movies.
No, he does. He does. He does. A lot of people watch his Christmas specials and stuff like that. But they do bring up a lot of classics around the holidays and the ones that are especially representative of those holidays. So Christmas has Christmas movies. Thanksgiving has Thanksgiving based movies and stuff like that. So Halloween is obviously going to be fun because I love this genre. Spooky time, scary time. Like, do you like to be scared? Do you like to be laughed? Like, do you like? It'll be
Truth be told,
interesting.
like there's different levels of being scared, man. There's like,
Exactly.
oh, he popped out of nowhere. Yeah, that was scary. And there's shit that I can't turn off the lights, man. I can't leave the
Oh,
house.
so we'll
You
get
know,
into that. We'll get into that next week, man. Because there's
that's-
definitely some movies that you don't want to leave your area. You're just like, you know what? I don't know if it's safe.
what what level of cuckoo are you willing to experience?
Today, not too much, man. Because there's still movies today. There's one movie I'm not gonna talk about. There's one movie I'll talk about it next week that I still can't watch by myself today.
I think I know what it is, but I feel like a lot of people will say the same thing about it.
This
It
is
left that
crazy.
impression over time.
Whew.
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly.
I don't want to leave this podcast. I don't want to be alone.
I don't
You
want to be.
conjured these evil thoughts, man.
I don't want to be alone in this hotel room. And if you want Rick to wear a costume, and you have one, send it to him so he can wear it during the podcast. No, I'm just joking. All right, thank you guys. We appreciate you. Keep giving us the feedback. If bear with us as we're trying to figure out this whole YouTube thing. YouTube.
Has a lot of restrictions.
I'm not gonna shit on them too much because we need them, but nonetheless, in the meantime, like I'm using a drive, and if you guys want to be added to it, I just need your email. I'll give you access to the folders, and basically these episodes are in there, and you can access it, and you can watch it, you can download it at any time, and that's it, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Take care. Till next
Next time,
time.
peace.
Do what you love and
Love what you do. Later.
later.